Create your own LGNES to supersize and grow your business. What the heck is that? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about how to let go of negative emotions, create our own strategies to do that in order to build and supersize and grow our business. We're going to create one for your business, for our business. I'm going to share a bunch of examples of how I did this for myself and in one of my businesses, 15 years ago now, and how powerful an impact it's had on me and my life and my businesses. Well, what the heck are negative emotions? We know what negative emotions are, right? Anything that makes us feel heavy, anything that makes us feel down or negative or more negative emotions are something we want to get rid of, especially when we're interacting and building our business. I used to feel a lot of frustration, a lot of imposter syndrome, which I didn't even know what imposter syndrome was back then, but I felt that the competition and that there was too much competition and that I compared myself to other people and all these things that stemmed from a feeling of not being good enough, not deserving. And so one day, when I was at my business, it was a holiday, and so I went down, I called it the shop. I went down to the shop, Italian food manufacturing business, and I decided once and for all, I was going to find a way to get rid of the feeling of not good enough. Not good enough is super duper heavy to me. I don't know how it feels to you, but if I believe that I and my business are not good enough, we're going to continue to struggle. We're going to continue to compare ourselves to others. We're going to continue to have negative things and challenges flow into the business that we just don't need to and don't want to deal with and don't have to if we know that what we're doing matters. If we know that what we're doing is positive and making the world a better place, it's a lot easier to come to work every day. And if I can create that in myself and for my business, it's an extremely competitive advantage and powerful way of showing up in the world, right? Because people are attracted to things that they feel are successful, things that make them feel good. And if we feel good inside our business, that shows on the outside and attracts the people we want to attract, right? So I decided I was just going to play with this one day, and I spent the better part of the day playing with this because it was a holiday and I could do what I wanted. And so I did a bunch of different fun, creative strategies. Some of them are ridiculous. Most of them are ridiculous because sometimes the more ridiculous, the more hands-on, the more physically I engage with something, the more powerful the lesson is for me and the longer it lasts. So here's some of the things I did. I mentioned yesterday that I did this, and I actually took videos of most of it back before I was even doing any videos. This was when I was 50, so this would be back in 2010 when that's, 7 years before I even actually came online. So it was just an activity that I did so that I could go back if I needed to and rewatch them, which I think I only ever went back once, and I found the videos and shared them as one of the annual challenges. And I said I would do that. If anybody wants that, please put videos in the comments below and I will go find them. I got busy yesterday and I did not go find them. I'm not sure I know where they are, but I always find a way to get things done if somebody asks me to. So what are some of the crazy things I did? And our challenge today is I challenge you to come up with one LGNES, letting go of negative emotions strategy for your business. And maybe it's you just write it on the whiteboard, the not good enough, the statement, the thing that you want to get rid of, and you just erase it in front of everybody at a team meeting or something. That might be your strategy. Or you can use any one of these or a combination, or come up with your own that are appropriate for your business, but come up with at least one that you can do yourself and share with other people in the organization, so if they're feeling a negative emotion, they can get rid of it before they come to the staff meeting, right? Hey, I'm feeling like there's so-and-so hurt my feelings, or in the last team meeting, I spoke up and then I was embarrassed. I don't want to speak up in meetings anymore. I would, before I went into a staff meeting, I speak up in meetings, I confidently speak up in meetings or something, and I would erase I don't speak up in meetings and get rid of that and replace that with something once and for all, because we need everybody's voices, everybody's input to create the business and the world that we want. So here's some of the things I did. I wrote on Post-it notes, not good enough. My company's not good enough. And guess what? We're never perfect. We're never exactly how we want to be, but we're always continually improving and moving toward what we want. Because we exist, we're good enough. If we weren't, we wouldn't even exist at all. Our company and ourselves. So I wrote on Post-it notes, not good enough, and then a bunch of them, and then I just lit them on fire. We had these little beer buckets back then, where we used to sell multiple beers upstairs in the business upstairs. Bottles or cans, you could buy a bucket of beers. That was a thing in the 90s and 2000s. I don't know, maybe in the 90s, but whatever, 2000s. And this was in 2010, so we still had these buckets. So I put a bunch of them in the buckets, went out back underneath the deck, and I lit them on fire and burnt them. And yes, I did film that. I didn't have to call the fire department. It burnt right out, so that was good. Burning things is one of my personal favorites, but that might not be applicable for your business. I took a dry erase marker and I wrote on a mirror, and I sprayed it with window cleaner and wiped it off. I also had a chalkboard in the break room where we used to communicate with one another and share information and notes and things. And I wrote it on the chalkboard and I sprayed and wiped that off. Actually washed the chalkboard that day. That was a good day. I also had a dry erase board in my office. I wrote not good enough on, and I erased that, which I think that's one of the most quick and easy ways we can incorporate this into our business. Call out the elephant in the room and write it on the whiteboard and erase it. We have no competition. We are our own competition. Or no competition, or competition is killing us. Erase that baby and replace it with, the only person we have to compete with is our own business and ourselves. Toilet paper, I actually wrote it on toilet paper and flushed it down the toilet. That one was really fun too. Anybody can do that, right? Nothing wrong with flushing some ink on toilet paper down the toilet. I went on a walk down to, it's called the Dike in my little town. I used to walk there every day after my sudden cardiac arrest, but this was way before my sudden cardiac arrest. But I took a walk down to the end of the dike, walked down to the river, and in the sand I wrote not good enough, and then I let the water wash it away. That one was probably the one that took the longest, so I don't necessarily recommend that one. And you have to be by water and a beach to do that. But what's a creative way you could create that for your business or something similar? I did a non-environmentally friendly one that I look back on now and I cringe a little, but I did it, so I'm going to tell you. I wrote on a balloon with magic marker, permanent marker, not good enough, and I released it in the back of my business up into the sky. Hopefully a bird didn't eat it and didn't die, or I would feel some remorse. Then I wrote it on paper towel and threw it in the garbage. I actually, this was in my Italian food management business, I actually formed letters out of dough, pasta dough, cooked them in the pasta cooker, and ate them. That was one of my favorites as well. That was a fun one. All of these taught me that I don't have to hold on to negative emotions myself, and I don't have to keep negative beliefs and negative thoughts and negative emotions in my business either. I can let them all go, which is part of why I went down to my business and did it, because I realized that believing that our business wasn't good enough, I wasn't good enough, we didn't deserve, was a bottleneck. It was holding our business back, and I knew that I needed to release it for myself and my business. And do things come up that I think, oh, I'm not going to do that, we don't deserve that, I'm not going to do that? Yeah, they sure do, but guess what? It's pretty easy to get rid of them now. So today, I challenge you to create one strategy, one letting go of negative emotions strategy for you and your business. It could be for anything, but just pick a negative emotion that you just want to minimize the feeling of. Unworthiness, not good enough. To me, those are the heaviest. They're down in the bottom of the emotional guidance scale. So we want to make sure that we're not spending very much time there, especially if we want to build something to make the world a better place, and that is our business. All right, any questions about this? If you want the videos in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm not going to dig them out. Have an awesome day, and if I can help you in any way, just ask. See you tomorrow.